Have you ever wondered, how do I overcome hardship in a graceful way? Or, I thought I got over this already. Why is this coming up again? And how to be more at peace about the natural ebbs and flows that happen in life. So I picked this shady spot, which does not have the best lighting, because it expresses the message today of how we're in half shade, half light, or myungmun, which is a Korean phrase that is the concept of how it ebbs and flows, where when you're healing yourself or wanting to make yourself even better and brighter, you'll have periods of struggle and challenge, physical pain, right? I just did 5 days of training here at this beautiful Mago Retreat Center in Sedona, Arizona, and I'm so sore, right? And in the beginning, they tell us right away, you're gonna feel myungmun, you're gonna have everything purifying and clearing out. So you have heavy soreness, you have emotions coming up that you didn't even know were there. There's like a lot of clearing and purifying, and then you feel brighter and lighter. But that doesn't last long, maybe a few days, and then the next cycle comes out, the next layer comes. Part of myungmun is to not expect there to be any regularity, any consistency. There's no rhyme or reason. It could last years for one side or the next. So you can't control that. You don't focus there. And instead, you just understand all things will pass. This good phase will pass. This bad phase will pass. Everything is transient. Everything is impermanent. But intellectually, we know this, or it makes sense. But living life is another matter. So here at this training, I have felt very sore, and I felt like I've been clearing and cleansing for most of the time. I never got to that other side of the brighterness. And before, my perspective, I would have thought, it's kind of a struggle. I don't feel like the renewment and cleansing I was hoping for. I had a lot of emotional stuff come up, etc. Things to work through. But I can tell I've grown, because I'm very happy for this. Very, very happy to have struggled so much, because that's where the growth comes. As Darren Hardy, another mentor, has said, adversity is your competitive advantage, and he says it from more of a business standpoint. But adversity is not just an advantage, it's not just, I always tell students, it's not just it's inevitable, it's necessary, right, for your growth. Suffering is good. That's like, I tell my son, right, my 14-year-old son, it's what builds the wings of a butterfly inside that chrysalis that's really hard. Not just necessary, not just a competitive advantage. Suffering and hardship, it's a blessing. I'm not just saying that to have a positive aspect or spin on it. It actually is the juice. Like, that is where the growth happens. It cannot happen when all is well, because it's easy for a lot of people. Unless you're like me and sometimes you make the good times hardship. Anyway, so that's another video for another time. But I actually can see and experience and feel the difference that the struggles and challenges I had this week, whether it's physical or emotional and relationships with other people, forced me to grow and think from different ways, navigate it. And then, as Master Wu would say, who's teaching this, we have another tool in our tool belt to navigate for future situations. If life was all good, right, we don't have that hammer to fix things, it's like a collection. All your hardships, it's like, oh, now I got a screwdriver, now I've got a wrench, and you can collect anything so that in any situation you're like, oh, I've been here, I can empathize or have compassion for someone who is dealing with that and help them, or I can help myself, because you were able to practice the principles of what you're learning into life, so that you have it forever, and then can help others. So bottom line is, hardship is awesome. It is like the only way to actually grow yourself and transcend and self-actualize to a place that you didn't know yourself to become. How else are you going to practice if you do not have a training ground? Like, that's ridiculous. It's like asking an athlete or any Olympic performer or a singer or anyone to, if you haven't experienced the anxiety of performing, or your voice dropping when you sing and then recovering, or in sports, if you haven't just messed up in the last final point, or all the mistakes we make, it's the recovery, the response that is the most critical. I like to always tell my son, you know someone's true character when hardship comes and conflict arises. You'll see their true nature, and like two rocks that are jagged, right? And they clash. But when you keep that's friction is required to smooth and round out the stone. This is wisdom shared from other people here this week. And I love that analogy because it's a nice visual of, here's me and my husband, or you and your loved one, or someone you care about that you have to see, and ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta. Or it could be a stranger, right? Ta-ta-ta-ta-ta. You keep coming together, and then that friction lessens over time and becomes smooth, and you can have that harmony. But to expect no friction with each person, granted, I know there's some people you feel like kindred spirits with, and there's an automatic loving place, that's cool, but that's obviously not every relationship. So we can be grateful for it, not as a positive mindset exercise, but simply like just the reality that is the blessing, and to be excited, what's on the other side of this? What am I going to learn? I can't wait. And then to fully embrace and accept whatever challenge you are facing. So to recap, if you're someone who wonders, how can I be grateful for all the suffering in the world, or for myself, or in my life, for the challenge and hardship, understand that is the requirement, that is the training field, why we're here on planet Earth, to go through, to have that friction, to smooth out our jagged edges inside. You can almost think of this not just like two people, but like a life circumstance and your current character have friction. And then when you keep suffering and you have challenges, that keeps giving you another opportunity to keep shaping and cultivating and honing to smooth out so that you can be in harmony with life, and then start to dance with all life has to offer and give. And when you rough out those edges and can cultivate that inner essence, that being to share with others, that's it. That's what I believe every human soul's existence is here for, is to share their brilliance, that innate brilliance. But you gotta work on the jagged friction and conflict over and over and over and over and over and over and over. Yay! Okay, so I hope that gives you a new perspective of how to not just view hardship, but then to be excited for and run towards that, so that you can learn to enjoy this process like any mastery has to offer in your own self-mastery. If you want to master some of those things, I'll go ahead and put a link below on our 5-day energy challenge. It's just half an hour or so each day with some principle, and then you practice it into your life with a very simple thing. And that'll give you a taste of what it's like to, manage, it's cold and hit my knuckles, how to manage that friction in life that happens in a more graceful way, to enjoy that process of honing your own spirits in serving your highest expression.